Well, from what you can see from the title, we're about to do the review for Prey. I can't. I was about to try to do the Predator sound, but then I was just like, you know what? I'm not gonna try to do that because I can't do it. But Prey, the Predator movie. Now, for those who you don't know, this is the fifth. Yeah, I believe the fifth film, and the fifth film in the main Predator franchise, and it's a prequel because this takes place before all the Predator movies, even the first one with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I think this takes place in like the 1700s or whatnot. And for the most part, I'm glad that I finally seen. It's the first for the first time in a long time. I finally seen a good Predator movie, but it does have its faults. But let me give you a synopsis. Then we're going to set the scene and break it down why I do and don't like some things. A skilled Comanche, excuse me, I don't know how to say that, but Comanche warrior practice her tribe protects her tribe from a highly advanced alien predator that hunts humans for sport. Fighting against wilderness, dangerous colonials, and this mysterious creature to keep her people safe. So that in front, we are introduced to Naru. I think that's how you say her name, Naru. She is the main character of the movie. This is now I'm at the setting up this scene part. So to set the movie up, we're introduced to Naru, and we quickly see, the tradition of, we introduce the tradition of what the males roles are in the tribe and the women roles, and we introduce to what she is, and you quickly are shown that she's going to be that girl that's trying to push against the norm of what tradition says. Also, we're introduced to the Predator like very early on too, like not long after you're introduced to her. Like the movie starts, you're introduced to her, and then like in the 5 to 8 minute point of the movie, that's when you're introduced to the Predator because you start hearing these sounds in the sky that sound like thunder, but to the to them they sound like thunder. But to the audience, you could tell it's not thunder because you hear the other sound effects with it, and it sounds like a Predator spaceship. And so yeah, we're quickly introduced to to Naru, her brother, and her tribe, and basically in point she fights against the norms, right? She's a woman who's supposed to be about medicine, and they supposed to be the guys to go out there and hunt and get food and whatnot. She's supposed to be about the herbs and the medicine and all like that. But she has proven, the movie establishes pretty early that she's a proven hunter and tracker. Which means that they already proved that she's just as good as the guys when it comes to hunting and tracking. But the guys don't allow her to basically prove it because they don't think she's supposed to be out there anyway. But things quickly go from bad when they go out hunting and Naru, somebody goes missing in the tribe and they needs to go find them, and Naru comes along even though the boys don't want her there, but her brother, like, you know what, she needs to be here because she's a good tracker and she knows medicine, so she actually do need to be here. And for all intents and purposes, most of the males act like the stereotypical male when it comes to her, and even her brother at certain points act like the stereotypical douchebag brother. But he's also the supporting brother too. He do support her. At the same time, and then on the other hand, he becomes this douchebag character. Once we're introduced to is on this rescue mission, they find that things are not going too well in the forest. They start to notice that all the animals are the reason why it's so easy to hunt animals, and the reason why certain animals that should have killed things haven't killed things is because they were scared away by something. And she starts to pick up on the fact that this something is what she's been trying to warn the people about, and we all know that something is the predator. You do get to eventually see some colonials, but they're like more like cannon fodder to the for the predator than anything else. But yeah, we're just basically from there on. It's a race against survival against the predator, who is there basically trying to hunt and prove itself. Now this leads me to what I like about the movie is that how perfectly illustrated that. Even for the predator, they illustrate using the humans to illustrate that both the predator and the humans are basically doing the same thing. They're trying to prove themselves. Even the brother's trying to prove himself. The girl trying to prove herself, and the predator is trying to prove himself to his people. So they perfectly balance that and illustrate that. I like the scene, the action scenes, the suspense, the cinematographic, the visuals, all that stuff was good. I like all that, the character development and stuff like that. That was good. Even the story was good. But speaking of story, that's going to take me to the last part of this video, which is what I don't like. And what I didn't like was the reason why I bring up story is because one part of the story is that they overdo the whole tradition thing. Not that that's not a bad thing. I knew that going into the movie there was going to be something about tradition and fighting against the norm. Okay. The problem is they overdo it. Every scene that Naru interacts with her tribal men doesn't have to be them basically shoving into the face that she's a woman, you're supposed to be doing this, we're going to treat you bad because you're a woman, we're going to laugh at you and not take you seriously. I didn't need that in every freaking scene. And I might be over-exaggerating just a little bit, but every scene she interacts with her fellow people, and even as supportive as her brother was, he even had his moments. And then with that, they also have it like she's the one. They established that, okay, we get it. We established that she is going to fight against the norm. We get it. Okay, that they don't think she should be out there hunting. We don't need that every scene to reaffirm that. You did it enough to establish that as a story point. Let's move on to some other things. We don't need her to always get treated bad every time she interacts with them. And then they made the other thing was they it's a good thing they showed that she actually good at hunting and tracking and all that type of stuff. But they also, at the same time of showing how good she is at doing it, they use it as another way to subject her to more berating and stuff too. Cause the story, how it sets her up to being the triumphant person is that her earlier conquests, her earlier things that she could have been successful at hunting, was she had some unfortunate mishap like knocking herself out, or somebody else getting the credit for something that she's done, and them not saying nothing about it. And then there's a point where that even comes into fruition, which was, I guess I could say, was a good part, because somebody actually did finally fess up to be like, only reason why I got to that point or been able to overcome this animal was because because it was your plan, you wounded it, and I just took advantage of it. That was kind of cool. But using it to reaffirm what you already been overboard with at this point, the fact that she's a woman, she's not supposed to be. We get it, and that just irritated me. Sometimes it took me out of the movie. Like it was so much, and I get it. I'm glad for women empowerment. I like women empowerment. But to be that overly dickish about it, and just having them just constantly in every scene, she's just getting be ready because she's trying to do what they do. That was just a little overkill for me. But other than that, it's still a good movie. I still recommend that you watch it if you haven't seen it. And I'm going to give it a grade of... I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Big ups. That's good. It's still a good movie. It's still a movie that it's still a movie that I would actually buy on DVD and put in my collection. But it's just hard to watch that overtly just being an a-hole to her, you know. That was just too much. But other than that, yeah, it's good. You let me know in the comments down below, though, what you thought. And if you enjoyed this review, you hit that button right there in the upper right corner for all of my reviews. And if you enjoyed this video so much you want to support the channel, all you gotta do is hit those buttons that I always tell you to press. And as always, hitting on these videos for more amazing content. They're going anywhere because I got more reviews. I got Nope coming up next, followed by SmackDown. I hear SmackDown was good. So, yeah, peace out.